Everyone, this is Sandra Miller, nutritional therapist, and I'll be your host for today's show. Today, I'll be interviewing Joy Gotch, and Joy is a healing practitioner from Canada. Joy is also Scalar Light customer, but she's a lot more than that. She's a Scalar Light success story. Joy had just learned that she had Lyme disease when she stumbled across Scalar Light, and you're about to hear a healing testimony. And when I say a healing testimony, we're not just talking about remission. We are talking about full recovery from Lyme disease. But not only did Joy do this, we're going to tell you how you can do this too. So stay tuned and allow me to welcome Joy Gotch.
I work with people, mind, body, spirit. So I know that their innate wisdom knows what they need to keep them in balance. And so I've worked with everything from learning disabilities to health issues and everything in between. So that's kind of what I do. And I love what I do. I continue to learn always.
Do you personally work with people proximally in their energy field or remotely, or how do you work with people?
Both.
You do both. So you can do distance energy work as well.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So tell us a little bit about some of the symptoms you were having and what was going on in your life. How long ago was it?
Well, 3 years ago, I was down in Florida, as I am right now, and I got really unwell. And I would try to go for a walk, and I'd feel like I was going to face plant, just fall over. I was exhausted. I was trying to do my Tai Chi, and I just had nothing. So I had all these weird, wild symptoms, even blood sugar symptoms, you know? So, and so my husband and I were testing my blood sugar, and it was okay, and was really, really confusing, right? And that was on the heels of a number of years of headaches, which I kept working on because I couldn't get help from the doctor. And finally, when I went home, I said, "That's it. I'm going in to see him." And I had heard about Lyme, and I felt like the symptoms were very, most likely it was Lyme. And I had grown up as a teenager on a farm, and the mosquitoes were giant, right? And I'd always ridden in the forest as for many, many years. And so I thought there's a good chance, and it turned out that there was a lot of Lyme showing up in our area and in our forests, right? So,
and this is in Canada?
Yeah. So I went to my doctor. I did the Canadian test for Lyme. It came back negative, and apparently it has only a 40% accuracy. The one in the States that they run is more like 60% accurate, I believe. So still not great. So I went to an alternative practitioner whose father was an alternative medical doctor. And when I called her, I said, "This is what I'm thinking." She said, "Well, you're coming to the right place because I've got all the test kits, because my father got bitten a year ago and he almost died because he was older and, he didn't have the immune system, I guess, to deal with the Lyme over the many years that I must have had." So anyway, my diagnosis was confirmed. My symptoms were tested energetically as she was testing these various co-infections. It was just like I got all these weird and wacky symptoms that I'd been having. So for me, it was like, oh yeah, this is what it is. But her solution was very expensive, and I wasn't, I wasn't in a position to, do that. And the doctors still were not allowed to prescribe doxycycline, which is the old antibiotic that does in fact work with Lyme.
Mm-hmm.
But it's useless if they only give you 6 weeks. It just comes back. So you have to do a 13-month course, which is pretty hard for people to really stick to, So
13 months on an antibiotic is only going to lead to more health challenges. But
yeah, honestly, it's a fairly benign one, but still, yes, you have to do probiotics and all kinds of stuff, right? So what I did was I just went, okay, now I know for sure what I'm dealing with. So now I know I can tackle it energetically. I can start working on it myself, and I just knew something was going to show up to help me. Within 2 months, I heard about Tom Paladino and his Scalar, got on his site, listened to his calls, talked to him, and jumped on board. And within less than a month, I started to feel like a big difference in my energy. And within 4 months, I'd say I was better. And I've chosen to stay on Scalar because I love what he's doing. I love the the support that energetic balancing does.
Balancing.
Yeah, it really evens out the emotions, and that's what I've seen with people over and over again. I've been running two groups pretty well for 3 years. Goes up and down, right?
Before we go on, for a lot of people that don't know what Scalar Light is, Scalar Light is a modality that positively impacts a human biofield remotely. Now, the point is, Joy lived in Canada, and Tom Paladino has a lab in Florida, and he was able to help Joy with a photograph of her skin. And so this is where a lot of people have to shake their heads and go, oh, that's not possible. This is quantum physics. It's quantum science. There is, in fact, a quantum entanglement, or to put it in an easy way, is we are all connected somehow, okay, by this universal energy. But when you explain to people that you can help them feel better with a photograph, that's where the understanding seems to stop. So I just wanted you guys to know, she's in Canada, he's got a lab in Florida. He was able to take her photograph and do what he does with an instrument that harnesses scalar light or scalar energy. That was sort of the science that initiated with Nikola Tesla. His instrument is called Scalar Light, and the body goes into its own healing mode with this remote technology. So tell us what happened after you started. When did you start to feel better? I mean, would you consider yourself in remission, or would you say you are recovered?
I would say I'm recovered for sure. And I think, I mean, the reason I stay on it, and I really want to emphasize this, and I do think it might be, wise to stay on for 4 or 5 months, go off for a couple, go back on, but the heavy metals that he also addresses, taking out those heavy metals, and now he's added disassembling the glyphosate, helping your body eliminate that, right? That's huge because, our toxic chemical burden is kind of relentless these days, right? So, and I eat very well. I eat mostly organic, and but still, it's your body needs a lot of support. So,
and so many people are suffering from this, and we want to reach out to people, but it's very difficult for people to understand the science. But just to validate it,
information is carried on frequency. So when you transmit that through the scalar or through some other method, and there's a lot of intention behind it as well, directing it. The system goes, oh, thank you for that information, and I'll use that. And so we're still healing ourselves, but we're getting the information and, the energy to be able to do it.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, like I said, as a health coach, I'm not probably your average health coach. I'm a supplement specialist, and I have been for decades. So, that was kind of my thought process, was it's all about diet and exercise and supplements and sleep, and that was it. But, I didn't, even though I had a good background in energy kind of stuff, manifestation and things like that, I had never tied it to my health except my own positive attitude and that type of thing. But this is actually not new science, but it's now being studied. I was blown away to find out that there were over 200 references on what is in America, in the States, it's called PubMed. It's the National Library of Medicine or the National Institute of Health. And there's 203 references. They're looking at cancer. They're definitely looking at pain and inflammation, brain insults, whether it be ADD, ADHD, all of those things. I mean, our DNA is instructions. A scalar wave looks like DNA. It is providing instructions to our body that come from an outside environment, and it's how we take it in. And, I think 3 or 4 years ago, nobody heard of the microbiome 5 or 6 years ago. 3 or 4 years ago, you started hearing about the microbiome, and people still didn't know what it was, but they throw the term around.
Probiotics and
microbiome. We have a microbiome in our mouth. We have a microbiome on our skin. We are germs in cute clothes. I mean, let's face it, that's what we are, right? And they provide information to our insides. And so this is just another way I think people are going to really see that energy and light and frequency, just like Tesla said, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of frequency, energy, vibration. There's sound healing. I mean, all of these things today. I'm so happy that you shared that story. And, of course, we can't really make any claims. And I know that you haven't had testing, but we do have other people who have. So let me just kind of explain. If a person is to test for any pathogen, whether it be Epstein-Barr, Lyme, or its co-infections, Candida, HPV, I've got a couple of really nice visual testimonials on HPV, and we'll be having her on soon, the girl who was sharing her 13-week testimony. What you're going to see is a person comes to a Scalar Light session with pathogenic loads, and when they are done with just a 15-day trial, they can go and get a test that shows either the presence or the absence of the DNA of that pathogen. If there is no DNA, there is no pathogen. So we're talking recovery, not just remission, which what most therapies do. It's the intelligence of the human body. That intelligence is what instructs our body to do one thing or another. And it really does begin with fatigue and low energy. So if someone's got fatigue and low energy, your biofield has been compromised. It doesn't matter how good you eat, how good you sleep, how many supplements you're taking. Honestly, that can throw things off. There is a company right now called NES that actually has an instrument that can measure the biofield. Have you heard of NES?
Yes, I have.
So they measure your biofield. They get instructions from your body, and then they are able to turn around and provide frequencies that enhance those good energies. And basically it tells your body another story. It's a different story than what it's hearing right now. So that's just one other way. Now they can do that remotely with a hand cradle that picks up the energy, but they're not able to do it with a photograph. A photograph actually captures the light signature of a person, which is as unique as their fingerprint or their DNA, which is really cool. It's kind of the way my cell phone would find your cell phone, right? But it sounds like a very simple process, and to the universe it is. It's just hard for people to wrap their heads around this. So what I would say is, because we offer a free trial, I would just say, if anybody's suffering from any kind of pathogenic issue, if you feel like you have a heavy metal burden, or you're not feeling good, or you've got fatigue, you've got some sort of a chronic illness, autoimmunity, psoriasis, a lot of these things stem from pathogens. So autoimmunity usually stems from Epstein-Barr, cytomegalovirus. We have testimonials of people who have come to us with those pathogens. And I can actually show their results where they have tested negative for that pathogen and their symptoms are gone. So, we don't want to make it sound like this is too good to be true. It is.
It is.
It is. That's why people like Joy stay on it, because you're receiving benefits, Joy, above and beyond now that you're feeling like you've healed from the Lyme pathogens.
Yes.
You're receiving benefits that go above and beyond that.
Yeah, I think the heavy metal burden that I had is really, just almost non-existent, and I love the emotional stabilizing feeling as well that comes from, the one aspect. And my husband also, we went through, we've gone through cancer, and he had colorectal cancer. And post surgery, he wasn't too open, but I just put him on. And his recovery has been really good. Like, his stamina's come back, his recovery is really good. I even tried the free neurotransmitter, and oh my gosh, and it was like, oh, where's the chemo brain? He was like so much more with it.
So much better.
Yeah.
My mom is doing famously. My mom has Alzheimer's, and she's doing fantastic she's on the standard.
Oh, wow. Yes.
And she's on the endorphin, the mood support program.
Yes.
And so with that, we were losing her. She was doing some really weird things. She was having compulsions, and she's just doing the same things over and over and over again, and really weird stuff that wasn't making any sense. We were really frightened for her. And I said to Tom, can you please put her on that aside from the standard, I'd like to put her on this. And so he did. He put my mom on, and we had to move her out of her home into an assisted living facility. And it was just about the time that we moved her. So now we're taking this person out of their home. She was there 30 years. Mm. She doesn't have any friends there. She doesn't have nothing familiar except a few pieces of furniture. And about a week after she got settled in, I had a good conversation with her, and even family members said she's like awfully with it right now. She's still forgetful. I mean, she'll go, "Oh, was it Sunday you called me? I don't know. I can't remember." And she can't. I mean, she's not healed. Let's face it. That's years and years and years and years of damage. But her mood is so much more stable. Yeah. Her anxiety has lessened. She doesn't have nightmares anymore, and she's lucid. She can talk about things and not completely talk about her ailments and her, so it's really nice to kind of have her back as much as we possibly can. My dog had anxiety. Pets do really well with this because they don't know what you're doing for them. They have no frame of reference for
That's right. They respond really well. Yeah.
They do. So
can I just say something? Just
sure.
Anybody who sees this, I just really encourage you, give it, do the free trial. If the prices are high for you because, for whatever reason, find a group of friends or family members and, do a group buy, because it's much more economical for you. And when I first started, I didn't have a group, and I just started getting my benefits, and I called everybody, let everybody know, and the next thing.
If you don't understand what this is, but you want to get better, we already know you've spent a ton of money already. Let's face it. I know people doing all kinds of supplements and all kinds of testing and everything, and they'll go, "Oh, I'm in remission." And I want to go, "Oh, recovery is so close for you." If you just say yes and see what this does for you. It's only beneficial. It absolutely can't hurt you. And there's a free trial. www.scalar, light.com. And just it's called the 15-day trial, or the standard Scalar sessions. That includes that anti-pathogenic, anti-heavy metal. It will help your body gently detoxify from substances that are making you sick energetically. So basically, we're kind of reversing that negative energy of those pathogens and toxins. And when we do that, you can totally feel the difference. If you have emotional, energetic negativities, we can also assist your well-being in that sense as well. So like that's what Joy was explaining. It's just the way you feel. It feels like you're meditating all the time. Doesn't it? It's sort of like you are more tolerant of people. So many benefits. Take the free trial. I'm so glad that Joy was able to share her story today. And we really appreciate it. Take the free trial and see how you feel. It could absolutely, positively change your life.
And gratitude to Tom and to you for everything you're doing. Site's so much easier. Thank you.
It's going to get better too. It's going to get a lot better. So thank you so much, Joy. I know we'll be in touch.
Okay, darling.